the fear. Experience the evil. Tongue pop with trepidation. You're listening to Terror from the Closet.
Hello, my name is Harrison Bahi from Terror from the Closet. And as part of a new series for this channel, me and Toby were just discussing on the Speak No Evil episode how, he's been creating a lot of awesome content for the channel. And I've just been really just doing some stuff with mainly the podcast episode where I would just kind of co-host with him and we talk about movies. But I figured I felt a little guilty because I'm not really doing much and he's doing a lot. So I wanted to start a series, and this is actually kind of going to deviate from our horror-based approach to this channel. And what I wanted to do is kind of add on to his first watch series so the thing about me is naturally him and we both love movies, and I collect movies like nobody's business. Here, just look over here for a second. I own all these movies right there, and I cannot actually tell you how many movies of those I haven't seen. So I just thought it'd be kind of fun to randomly go over there, select a movie, and just watch it and react to it organically after I've watched the movie. But you see, we already did the selection process of this movie not in the episode, but after it. The movie that I randomly selected, while we were talking about it, I went over there, closed my eyes, and just randomly reached for a movie. I asked him left, right, he said right, so I went to the right, and I locked on the movie and pulled it off the movie shelf, and this is what I selected. Raging Bull with Robert De Niro. So I'm gonna, and it's in 4K from Criterion, so it's gonna look sexy. So I've never seen this movie. 1980, Martin Scorsese, 129 minutes. It's in black and white. So I've never seen it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go watch it, and when I'm done with it, I'm gonna come back in here and give my review on it, give my thoughts on it, let you know if I liked it, hated it, will suggest it. But considering that it's part of the Criterion collection, and it's also a Martin Scorsese picture, God, I better like it. So yeah, but I figured, this is going to be a series that we start, and the next one I'll actually randomly go over there, close my eyes, and just randomly choose a movie. And the thing is, it's got to be a movie that I haven't seen. I guess it'd be fun to talk about movies I have seen, but I think the whole point of this is just to give me some reason to watch a movie I've never seen before, especially movies that I own, which is kind of embarrassing that I own a lot, but actually haven't seen a lot of them. So, but yeah, I'll be back with my review of Raging Bull in 130 minutes. Okay. Alrighty. Raging Bull. Martin Scorsese, stars Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. Did not know it starred Joe Pesci. Sorry, he's called Joey in the film. Okay, well, geez, where do we begin? This is just going to be my very natural reaction to a movie I just finished watching and I've never seen it, so this is just going to be my blunt review. Now, I am a 35-year-old film lover, and but I wouldn't say cinephile, considering I haven't really seen a great deal of movies that I feel that I should have seen, one of them being this. Now, I've heard of this movie, and I know that it's an important movie. It's definitely a cultural, cinematic landmark, or milestone, I guess you could say, in cinema history. So, I don't know, let's see, where do we begin? Well, first of all, I'm not really a big sports person. I don't really like sports in general. And especially boxing. I only recently watched Rocky, all the Rocky movies, probably within the past 5 years. for the first time. It always bugged me that I've never really seen that movie. I probably know about it through cultural osmosis, just knowing who Rocky is and what the character is. And gosh, I feel that Raging Bull is like the antithesis of Rocky, because while Rocky is lovable and you want to root for him, it was just very difficult for me to root for this guy. He is angry, insecure, violent, and typically the insecurity results in him taking out on his loved ones, specifically his wives. I think what really shocked me was the amount of domestic abuse that was in the movie. Like he's straight up punching these women because of his insecurities. And I get the draw of the character, considering that the character is actually based on real boxer Jake LaMotta. Is it LaMotta? Yeah, Jake LaMotta. And it was based off of his biography that came out around this time, and Martin Scorsese, whom I've heard suffered a big cocaine overdose and almost died. And Robert De Niro came to see him and introduced the biography of Jake LaMotta to Martin Scorsese, and that's how he got the inspiration to create this. So this could have been either it was before or after. I think it was before that this out. I just kind of read it quickly online when doing a little bit of research about this. But I mean, that's not to say that this is a bad movie at all. I think culturally speaking, it's a hard movie to watch for audiences nowadays, considering how a lot of this stuff is pretty taboo, and we address it far differently. But of course, this is a true story and was made in 1980, when filmmakers were just going crazy with making films of like challenging films in this sense, where the draw of Hollywood was kind of dying down. This was before the summer blockbuster, and they were just kind of creating darker, more human-esque movies, so this is definitely one of those films that falls into that category of a I don't think you're supposed to necessarily like the main character. It's kind of hard to put yourself in his shoes, because essentially he's like the villain of the movie. It's hard to root for someone who physically abuses his wife, especially women, and it's very difficult to root for a character. I mean, the opening scenes has this character ogling a 15-year-old girl and then kind of luring her into his apartment to like have her sit on his lap and then make out with her. And ultimately, that same sort of practice is what brings about his downfall in the finale of the movie, since he gives alcohol to 14-year-old girls in his bar. But yeah, I don't know. It's really confusing. Like, I like this movie for the portrayal of a dark, flawed character. Robert De Niro does a fantastic job with this movie. I mean, I believe he earned an Academy Award for his portrayal of Jake LaMotta. Particularly the scene with him in his cell where he's punching the walls and kind of, feeling bad for himself. Some really powerful stuff there. But the brutality of this film really stood out too. Like, the boxing scenes are just brutal. You feel every punch. And I was actually really happy with the sound effects of this movie, because I feel it would be so easy for this movie to have that classic, like, sound effect from around this era, but these punches hurt, and it sounded like they hurt, and just the brutality of it was also pretty beautiful. The film was shot in black and white, and the only parts that are in color are sort of like home movies of the characters getting married, and kind of felt kind of what's the word I'm looking for? That felt necessary. I feel it was all scratchy, and there was like film scratches and dirt and stuff. I think it was like 16 millimeter. But yeah, it was a really challenging movie to get into. But the whole point of this series that I'm trying to do now with watching movies I've never seen before, kind of blindly selecting out of my big old library over there, is to finally watch movies that I purchased and haven't watched, and also more importantly to experience movies that I really should be experiencing. Now, I got pretty lucky in this case in that my hands wandered to the Criterion Collection, and because they even say it in the front, what is it? They say the Criterion Collection is dedicated to gathering the greatest films from around the world and publishing them in editions of the highest technical quality with supplemental features that enhance the appreciation of the art of film. So I got pretty lucky. I could have easily chosen a shitty movie, but I feel even shitty movies will be fun to talk about too in the future. So yeah, in short, I really, really loved Raging Bull. I'm glad this is now off my list. I'm glad people won't give me that look of like, you've never seen Raging Bull? And I'd be like, well, hey, up until 5 years ago, I've never even seen Rocky. So I'm glad I watched it. Powerful performances, amazing cinematography. The brutality of the fights was memorable. The performances were strong. God, I felt really bad for Joe Pesci. I feel Joe Pesci, I don't know. I'm not really familiar with his works either. Like even when it comes to his collaboration with Martin Scorsese, but I feel he's been destined to play that guy, the Italian guy, the short Italian guy who has a temper as well, and just yells at people like, "Hey, you fuck off," But he was great in this too. But a really, really intense character study of someone whose anger is ultimately his downfall, even though he's like reaching for the top. It's what ultimately kicks him down to the ground spiritually, not physically, and just sort of hands his ass to him. He just sort of hands his own ass to him. He's his own downfall. He gets divorced from his wife, which I just read up is that this is 7th marriage. What's to say? Music-wise, I want to say the theme kind of sounded like Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Am I crazy in that it had like those first few notes in the theme? Or maybe it was pre-composed music, like I know a lot of filmmakers like to use classical music in films from this era, like The Shining and whatchamacallit, what was the other one? Not Rocky. But you probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, again, I'm not a big fan of sports movies, but I am a big fan of dark character studies, which this was. And like I said before, I'm glad I got this off my roster. So that is my take on Raging Bull. I give Raging Bull, what should I use? I give Raging Bull, we're going to go easy. We're going to give Raging Bull 5 boxing gloves out of 5. Also, pretty lucky that I was able to watch the 4K version of this because the cinematography was fantastic and this transfer was nearly flawless. So that's my take on Raging Bull. I'm not sure when these videos are going to come out, but hopefully you'll join me next time when I just do a first watch on whatever I randomly select from that wall of movies over there. Next time, I'll be sure to record that process where I'll just close my eyes and just randomly feel around for a movie and then just blindly pick one. And then if I've seen it, I won't watch it, so I'll put it back. We'll do it again, but ultimately the whole purpose of this is just for me to watch movies that I own, that I haven't seen, and just react to them organically, naturally. So, but yes, my name is Harrison Bahi from Terror from the Closet. I hope you've enjoyed this video. You can follow all of my socials down below or wherever they're at on the YouTube spectrum here. Go and give me a follow and be sure to subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching.